Test, test.
Public hearing. Please be advised that any disruption of the city council public hearing is not permitted. Madam Clerk.
This evening, we are discussing 3 different zoning change requests. The first one will be a discussion regarding ZCA 2-2024, which is the property at 3301 Meister Road. And this is parcel numbers 0202-012-106-001, 0202-012-106-002, and 0202-012-104-052. And all abutting property owners were notified by mail, and the notice of this public hearing was published in the local newspaper according to state statutes.
Thank you. Who's here to represent the administration? Mr. Carrion.
Yeah, thank you through the chair to members of council and the public. The administration is actually here to assist with any issues tied to this proposal that was submitted to the Building, Housing, and Planning Department. Our engineering department has been involved as well, but we do see that the developer is here to be able to address this body.
Very well. If we could have the first applicant, please. State your name and address for the record, please. Thank you. Proceed. Hold on. Excuse me.
Hang on.
Could you get the mic right? Thank you, audience.
Do we have it on now? Much better. Okay.
Check, check.
Check, check.
Can you hear? Audience? Thank you.
Okay.
Pardon me?
Sure.
Correct.
Sure. Tom Simon with Range Max Properties. Address is 2 Berea Commons, Suite 1, Berea, Ohio, 44017.
Thank you.
Thank you. The parcel address and the parcel numbers, what that is the site that was formerly the Meister Road Elementary School. We've worked, we came into planning, both planning and zoning, and also worked very closely with the engineering department on a proposal that requested an R2 zone with the intent of doing single-family for-sale townhomes. So these are attached townhomes. This product at this location gives us an opportunity to serve a dramatically underserved constituency here in the city of Lorain and really all over Northeast Ohio. And that's an opportunity to provide new home ownership opportunities to folks that need an opportunity to buy an affordable new home. And that is exactly what we're proposing. We're working currently in the city of Lorain in the Martin's Run subdivision. In the name of the street is Freedom Place, and the community is called the Colonies of Martin's Run. And that's property that's sat vacant for many years. And we acquired it and began construction late last year of this exact same product, and happy to say that it's doing well, and new homeowners are coming to the city of Lorain and finding that affordable opportunity for a new home.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any comments, questions from members of council? Please put your light on, please. Ms. Ellison.
did he, Mr. Simon, okay, can you address the issues with the traffic and the density? I think that's where most of the concern is here, that these are really going to butt up to the people that are in Pickett. And there's, like I said before, there's a chain link fence, and you had stated that if it was in good condition, you would leave it up.
Correct.
But would you ever consider putting like a 6-foot fence between the properties, so that the people that live on Pickett don't have to look at the back?
Sure, a 6-foot privacy type fence.
Correct. Would you consider that in your plan?
We would consider it.
And opening the south end up?
South end up to
Oxford.
yes. So to traffic in that street layout. So we spent considerable amount of time, months, working with Planning Commission and Zoning Committee on what a site plan should look like, what street arrangement should be. We went through probably, at least 3 iterations, and started out with a community of private streets and ended up with a community with public streets, and connecting the public street to Oxford, which stubs into the south of the property now, was stubbed in, as I'm told by folks in the City Hall, engineering and others, that the intent originally was for that to come through. And, I made it clear that we don't have an axe to grind one way or another. We're going to build public streets that we were asked to build, and the street will connect to Oxford, but our intent is to basically put up a I don't know if you can, how well you can see that. It's a type of barrier that is placed in a road that allows emergency vehicles to pass over it, but it will stop traffic from passing through. And that seemed to be the direction that folks wanted the community to go, and we're happy to go that way. If the preference was to put up a gate and provide a lock and a key to safety services, we can do that. We're gonna move forward with that at the direction of the city.
And then what about Meister Road itself? It's 2 lanes.
Yes.
East and west on Meister. Would you be fixing the road and putting a 3rd turning lane in?
We were asked to submit a traffic study, which we did,
Mm-hmm.
and the study resulted in no call for a turning lane for the community. It justified everything that we were proposing as is. So though there's no intent to add lanes when there's no call for it.
But see, the problem that I have, Mr. Simon, is you'll come in and build these, and then we're stuck with the problem on Meister. You're gone. I mean, I think you do quality work, as everybody has said. I think you're a nice guy.
Thank you.
But I am sure, I don't know which councilmans have woods in their backyard here or don't, but I mean, I don't think they would want 158 townhouses. I mean, I wouldn't, would you? I'm just asking. I know I wouldn't.
The traffic study that we were asked to do, it's not my decision, it's not me. It's based on numbers
Mm-hmm.
and data based on current traffic information.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Henley?
Thank you, Mr. Arredondo. I'd just like to make a comment. This is a quality product that they build, and several of us attended several planning commission meetings, and to see what the objections were and how they came to try to work with the city and the citizens to bring in a quality product. But I'd also like to state, and people don't like to hear this, but anytime you live in a home or own a home that abuts vacant property, you are subject to something being built there at any given time. So I think that's important to remember. I don't know what all the zoning might be there, but zoning, as we know, has been changed. So I would have more concern if it were a big box store or something else that was intended to be there. And that's certainly a nice piece of property. It's a large piece of property. So I'm just pointing that out. I'm not saying that's what the intent is, but it's important to remember anytime you live adjacent to vacant property that anything can happen. So thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Henley. Ms. Pinkowski?
Yes, I attended those meetings as well, and Mr. Simon and I have some colleagues in common from when I worked in Strongsville for Parkview Homes with the Pozzatellos. And I have had the opportunity to go and look at Freedom Place and talk to people that live over by Freedom Place. And it seems like the trend is moving towards, especially with younger single people and with older couples or older single people, that they don't want a big yard to take care of. They like having it taken care of for them in the HOA. And looking at, the issue of, I'm going to let him get out there. The issue of Oxford Drive was brought up, and engineering has addressed that with the safety access to it. And I do like Mrs. Spellis's idea of the privacy fence, which that would be, that would be a good neighbor gesture. As far as the density on the road, we've had the traffic studies. We've all looked at the traffic studies. We had them available to us, and it's not showing that it's going to create a problem with that. We do have, avenues to look at it later on. If there's an issue with traffic density, if we have to go back and look at Oxford, but it would need to have a traffic study done that would support doing that. And right now, it's not supported. There is a need for this type of housing. There is a call for it, and they are selling quickly. So nobody wants to see change, but it is inevitable. Thank you.
Thank you. No other comments from council. I'm going to move on to the public. Any comments from the public? Once again, you come to the mic, state your name and address for the record.
Hi, Brandon West, 1125 West 17th Street, Lorain, Ohio. Good evening. I'm here to speak about my correspondence, but to also say something deeper.
Brandon?
Yes?
We're talking, this is a public hearing about this project, okay? Thank you. No problem. You could sign up here. Thank you. Any other comments from the public regarding what Mr. Simon spoke about, this parcel?
Yeah, my name is Santo Davila, and I live right next door to the property. Excited to hear it's going to happen, but...
Well, what is your address, sir?
It's 3411 Maestro Road.
Thank you.
I'm right next to it on the west side of it. But I do have some concerns. Number one is I don't know that I agree with the findings that nobody really cares that south exit's not going to be open. I believe that's an issue. And I believe that should be brought to the attention of, I'm sure the people that live back there don't mind, but everybody on Maestro Road does mind. I believe that. You ask anybody on Maestro Road, they do not want that to not be an exit. We're going to have all the problems. We're going to have no problems. That's not right. That's number one. Number two is, I've called the city to take care of the drain that's sitting right in front of my house. When it rains, that thing rises up about 2 feet above that drain. It's not draining. City came out, they got guys down in there, the water never went down. Always have a problem with drainage. 150 new more homes, what's that going to bring to the area? I don't believe we have I forget the correct word for it, the infrastructure for all this. I mean, what's that going to do? If we're overwhelmed right now with what we currently have, what's going to happen with 158 more homes coming into the area? You know, what kind of study has been done for that? You know, has anything been done for that? You know, and what about greenage? Are we talking about you're going to pack them in there like sardines? Or are we going to have some greenage there and have some room and some space and make it look a little spacey for us? You know, so there's some concerns that I think we have that I think aren't being addressed here. You know, or maybe they have and I wasn't here, and I apologize for that because I was working. Now I'm officially retired. So I can step up and say some things that I think are not right here. And I do own the property, and if by chance you want to buy it, I'm willing to sell. So.
Thank you. Once again, please be advised that this issue, I believe, was in front of the Planning and the Zoning Commission. It only comes to us after they have given their approval. Part of the process is a public hearing. So any of the other addresses, you have the mayor here who sits on the commission, and Mr. Carrion, if you want to say any comments, please feel free to.
Yes, again, thank you for the chair, to members of council and the public. First of all, I appreciate the comment from Mr. Davila. Maybe you can give us your address again so we can talk to you and follow up on that. I just wanted to mention a few items. You know, this, as Mr. Simon stated, this item has been brought up several times before the Planning Commission, first to the Zoning Board of Appeals, and there were really 3 or 4 major issues that came up. Certainly density was one. This is a planned unit development that allows for more density per acre that you would have in a traditional residential neighborhood. The other item that we heard quite a bit was traffic, or the increased traffic based on the new houses, the impact on the real property owners, and also the impact on Meister. And then really the third one was drainage, the impact on drainage, not only to those residents on Meister, but those folks that are on the Canarian Park area that came to this body and address their concerns. And what we were pleased to learn and throughout the process is that Mr. Simon complied with every requirement that the Planning Commission recommended. Our engineering department looked at comprehensively the entire site. They looked at the entire site area and the adjacent properties to look at a comprehensive drainage study to assure that this new development will not have a negative impact on that drainage. There are different outlets for the stormwater to run off in that area. Not all of it runs off to the same sewer. There are multiple channels that you can divert the water. So in terms of Mr. Davila, if your issue, we want to address that deeper because I do believe there might be an isolated area in your section that we want to look at. But in terms of the work, you know, the traffic became a concern. We did request to the commission that the group secure a traffic study and conduct a traffic study. It was performed by the Davy Resource Group, which is a very well-known group here in the state of Ohio. And what we learned from that study was that it took into consideration the current households that are in that area. It took into consideration the traffic flow, the AM flow, and the afternoon flow, and it also added a model to show what these new homes would add. Now, the new homes are projected to be units possibly for 2 people or 2 vehicles, so it took that into consideration. And based on the analysis of the traffic flow and the layouts and the signalization that's in place, they felt that at this time, with this development, that there are no improvements warranted to the area in terms of adding lanes or increasing additional infrastructure to address traffic issues. So that was based on a comprehensive traffic study that was performed. The other, so I just wanted to state that because there were maybe 3 or 4 meetings over 3 or 4 months, a lot of questions, a lot of issues, and a lot of due diligence that Mr. Simon did perform and provided information back to the city. In our weekly conversations, weekly meetings that the mayor hosts Monday morning, we were able to address this issue again, knowing that it was coming before this body, and myself in having a conversation with each of our departments that are responsible for this project, which would be our building department, which deals with zoning, issues. Our engineering department that deals with traffic and stormwater drainage and sewer drainage, utilities department, water. They all felt that this project met the requirements and did not create a potential hardship or an added problem to the city. They felt that it was within compliance. And then lastly, the last comment that I wanted to make, I did receive some calls over the last several months about this project. Folks having, or at least understanding that this is perhaps a low-income housing project. We wanted to clarify for them, and we'll clarify here if you are not aware, that this is not a low-income housing development, and it is home ownership. And the type of ownership that has been needed in our city, as we have conducted housing studies for several years, what we have found out is that our middle market is also known as the forgotten middle market, is what these type of properties would appeal to. These are properties that will range in the 200,000, 205, maybe a little higher, but it's not those that start at 300 or 350 that many working families cannot afford. So I think this actually hits an area of our demographic that is in high demand, and I just wanted to share that with the public and council.
Thank you, Mr. Carey. I'm going to finish up with the public. Gentlemen's there at the mic, state your name and address for the record, please.
My name is Harlan Loving. I live at 3507 Rhinewald Road. My concern, a couple things. You say the traffic studies show no problems. 158 houses. How many of these will at one point or another have maybe one or two working inhabitants? So let's just, for the sake of nothing, 65 houses have two people going to work. They're going to work anywhere from 6 o'clock to 8 o'clock, maybe 8:30. 65 houses, two people, 130 cars coming out of one entrance, all within the same hour. There's no stoplight. What happens if you ever have an accident down there? Because, you know, that's the main thoroughfare that all the rescue squads take going to the hospital, because we hear them all the time. And it seems to me that it's unrealistic to think there will never be a problem with traffic, because 75 cars come out of the housing development. They're all headed towards Levitt Road to go get to I-90. They're going to line up on the corner of Meister all the way back, gosh knows how far, because that light's not going to let 50, 60 cars go through at a time at that corner stop. So I have a concern that that's going to make a mess for traffic. It may not be immediately, because all the houses of court won't be inhabited at one time, but as it gets down the line, it's going to get worse. And the other concern I really have is the noise they're going to put up with. Construction vehicles, you know, nail guns, hammering and building. I lived in a place where we had houses built close to us, and you could hear that stuff starting at 7 o'clock in the morning. And some people aren't really up and about at 7 o'clock in the morning. But you're going to hear these construction workers and cement trucks and probably earth movers, you know, diggers, hose, whatever else. Who knows what else is going to be going on. But I just have a concern about the noise and that traffic. It's like, you know, trying to get everybody out of one little hole at the same time is going to be a problem. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments from the public? If anybody else is going to comment, please come down, because we're in a time constraint here. We have a 6 o'clock meeting. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Diane Loving. I live at 3507 Rhinewald Road. You guys are talking about, oh, this is fine for the city, that's fine for the city, nothing's wrong with the traffic, this study's good, that study's good, we need housing. But you never think about the residents that are there, that are going to have to put up with this on the daily while all this stuff is being built. And then afterward with all the traffic. And you commented about, well, you have an empty lot. Expect somebody to build there. When we were there, that lot was not empty. We did not move in there with an empty lot. So there was a school there. I don't understand why our council people are not thinking about the residents that are living there. Fine, build some houses. Not so many. Make it where people can get in and out and it's not dangerous. It is so noisy there now already. There's fire trucks, police, motorcycles, noisy cars constantly up and down Meister Road. You put another 450 cars down there and all those people, it's not right. You would not want that in your neighborhood or yours. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Nutt, I'm going back to council. Got you right on.
Oh, I had turned it off because Mr. Carrion had addressed a lot of the topics and items I was going to bring up, like issues with drainage and whatnot. Because if you go to our Lorain Public GIS, you can actually see the drainage, and there should be plenty of that. It actually takes its own separate pipe off to the east. So I was just going to go over, but Mr. Carrion actually covered a lot of that. Thank you.
Very well. Thank you. Ms. Pelosi.
Yeah, I just had one more comment. The mailboxes for people on the north side of Meister, their mailboxes are on the south side of Meister. And they have to, and it's tricky sometimes watching somebody walk over to get their mail. So who would be in charge of moving those mailboxes if this goes through to the other side?
Mr. Simon.
We'd have to have a plan for mailboxes for our community that we work through with post office. What we typically like to do is group them along the new street in close proximity to the homes as they're built, but that's what we like to do. Post office ultimately decides. I've noticed that as well.
I mean, these are the established homes, so.
Yeah, I understand. I understand that. I think, some work based in communication with the post office really is what that goes to. I think it's probably a good idea regardless. And we're happy to be involved in that conversation for sure.
Okay, I mean, that's a concern.
Yeah.
Some of those residents are older, and they're going down, they're trying to get across Meister and then get back, and there's really no space to stand in because the road's so narrow.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think our development really bears on that one way or another, but I agree with you. That's better. It should be a better location for those boxes. Regardless, I don't know what they did when the school was there. I mean, again, it's a vacant property today, but it was not a vacant property not that long ago. It was a school and had all the traffic that comes with the school and everything else that goes with it. So.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, but we'd be happy to be involved in the conversation. I guess where I'm going with that is, as we work with the post office, it's a great opportunity to say, hey, this is a good opportunity for you to address an existing problem as well. If that makes sense.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll move on to the next public hearing.
The next topic is a recommendation from the Planning Commission regarding a request to rezone a parcel on Oak Point Road, parcel number 050000000299 from PUD to B1. The Lorain City Planning Commission met on April 2nd and recommended approval of the zoning code amendment to the Lorain City Council, and notice of this hearing was published in a local newspaper as required by state statutes. And abutting property owners were notified by mail.
Thank you. Mr. Carrion?
Yeah, thank you again for the chair, members of council. I'll try to explain this as best as possible. The next two items kind of run together. Which ones do we have here? There's 10B and 10C, which are being covered in this public hearing. As we discussed this matter with our building and housing, in both of these cases, the zoning was changed back in 2021 when the overall city zoning plan was modified, and these two parcels were inadvertently changed. Somehow in our mapping, it was included as a change, and it was never meant for them to change. The first one, which is the property off of Oak Point Road, it was always a B1. And this is the property next to the Batar Mercy Medical Center. So it was a B1, and it was changed to a plan unit development when the zoning code was changed, and that was not the intent. So our Building, Housing, and Planning Department wanted to restore that parcel to its original classification. And then the same would apply to the next property that's here. Also, I'm not sure if we're going to discuss this now while we're here, but it's a property over at 1510 Cooper Foster Park Road, and that is currently a daycare that is operated by a business owner. And again, that zoning was changed to an R1A back in 2021, where it was a B2 general business as a daycare. And really all that our Building, Housing, and Planning would like to do is just revert those back to what they were. It was just an honest mistake in drawing the lines during the zoning process.
Thank you. So who is here to speak on behalf of this, Mr. Fasciano?
Good evening, everyone. Dave Fasciano, Chief Building Official. I will do my best to answer any questions. Evelise and Matt are out of town, so I will do my best to answer any questions you guys may have.
Mrs. Ellison.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay. Mr. Nutt.
And I just want to say, I mean, I think Ray described it perfectly. I don't know if there's any questions. It's just correcting errors. This one and the following one. The following one is in the 4th Ward and 100% correct. Just trying to make it what it was from an error. That's all. Correct.
Correct. Yes.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Bringowski.
Yes, I agree with that. With the 1510 Cooper Foster Park Road, that is Jump of the Sun Daycare, and that has been in existence for quite a long time, and there are a lot of people that depend on that. It was vital during COVID, and I know that the owner is a very active member of the community, and you know, if this was an honest mistake in that, and we need to correct this, and it's basically just a housekeeping error. So thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions for Mr. Fasciano? If not, we'll move on to the public. Any comments from the public? No comments from the public. We'll call this hearing adjourned, and we'll go to the next one.
This discussion was scheduled to discuss a recommendation from the Planning Commission regarding our request to rezone the parcel at 1510 Cooper Foster Park Road, parcel number 0202005112-017 from R1A to B2. And the Lorain City Planning Commission met on April 2nd, 2025, and recommended approval of the zoning code change, rezoning to Lorain City Council. And notice of this hearing was published in a local newspaper as required by state statutes, and abutting property owners were notified by mail.
Thank you. Mr. Carrion.
Thank you, through the chair. Some information that we just talked about. The latter half was this property, 1510, which is the daycare that Councilwoman Springowski just made a reference to.
Thank you. Any other comments from council? Ms. Springowski.
Yes, yes. Have we received any correspondence from any residents regarding the last two parcels or the last two zoning requests?
No, not that I'm aware of.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Nutt.
Yes, in the 4th, I did not receive anything as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Any comments from the public? Nobody from the public? Very well. Council, any other comments? If not, I will call this public hearing adjourned, and we'll start our regular scheduled meeting in a couple minutes. Thank you. Lorain Council meeting. Please be advised that any disruption of the City Council meeting is not permitted per Ohio Revised Code 2917.12 plus Rules of Council. Please please silence your electronic equipment and rise for the prayer and pledge. Ms. Carter, will you please lead us?
Community, we ask you to grant us wisdom, discernment as we deliberate and make decisions that impact the lives of those we represent. We ask that you guide our thoughts and our words so they may reflect integrity, compassion, and fairness. Help us to embrace unity in our diversity, to honor every perspective, and to always pursue what is just and what is right. We ask that you bless this council and our administration as we introduce and consider items for the betterment of our city, and we all call it home. May our efforts this evening contribute to the growth of our community and bring us hope, healing, and opportunity to all. Now I ask that you strengthen us to face the sobering realities of life on this earth. In situations where we feel powerless, help us to listen deeply, respond wisely, and do the very best that we can for the people we serve. Also, let us not forget that those who serve are residents of this city as well, and we too desire and deserve the very best for our families, our neighborhoods, and our future. Amen.
Please remain standing after prayer and pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Miss Henley.
Thank you, Mr. Arredondo. If you could remain standing, City of Lorain lost a longtime former First Ward councilman over the weekend, I believe. David Wargo served 10 years, or more actually, 12 years, for the city, and he loved this city, and he loved his family. He was dedicated to the city and very dedicated to his family. So if you could just bow your heads, a moment of prayer, it'd be much appreciated. Thank you. Amen. Thank you.
Thank you. Call the meeting to order. Roll call, please.
We have 9 members present this evening. Absent are Mr. Demakia and Mr. Thornsberry.
Ms. Winkowski.
Yes, motion to excuse the absent members, please.
Ms. Duval.
Concur.
Please vote.
The motion carries unanimously.
Thank you. Item 3, disposition of minutes.
We have the minutes from the May 5th, 2025 regular meeting.
Ms. Winkowski.
Motion to dispense with the reading of the minutes, please.
Ms. Duval.
Concur.
Please vote.
The motion carries unanimously.
Item 4, correspondence communication from the mayor.
There is none.
Mayor, comments about cleanup city of Lorain over the weekend, maybe?
You're reading my mind? Did you see my notes? I do want to give a shout out to Rick Solo, because for the last 6 years, Rick has coordinated the cleanup, the City of Lorain project every year, and he gets our city employees involved. He also gets certain groups from the community involved. I know this year he had the Girl Scouts involved. He had the Lorain County Youth Brigade involved. The Rotary was involved. Walmart was involved. Who am I missing, Rick? Main Street, of course, was involved. We had a lot of people out there cleaning up. I don't know if you noticed the Lorain sign at Lakeview Park, but the Girl Scouts took care of that, trimmed it up. Really looks beautiful, especially with the sun shining. But Rick does this every year, and it's a lot of work, really, to get people out there coordinated, make sure that our employees are engaged. Public property comes out there, picks up the trash that's been gathered and all the cleanup materials that have been picked up. And so it's a nice project for the city of Lorain. It's done once a year, but sometimes it gives people the incentive to do it more often and go out there on their own and clean up. I know Rick and people from my office cleaned up the Admiral King site at the Settlers Watch, and they just do those types of things to
to make sure that our city looks clean. And again, I just want to thank everyone who participated and all our city workers that were involved in this project.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Soto, for your leadership. Item 6, correspondence from, item 5, correspondence of directors, boards, and commissions.
We have correspondence received from the Planning Commission recommending an ordinance amending the zoning code, ordinance 4-21, section 1151.06, permitted signs by district, and table 1151.06, signs by district I1 and I3 industrial districts, to allow for pole signs in light and heavy industrial districts, and amend section 1151.04C and E, prohibited signs, to allow for off-premise signs and roof signs. A public hearing has been scheduled for June 9th at 5:30 to hear comments from the public regarding this request.
Thank you. No objection, receive and file. Item 6, correspondence from other governmental agencies.
There are none.
Item 7, correspondence from the general public.
Our first item is email correspondence received from Brandon West regarding the city of Lorain and its future.
No comments, receive and file. Item B.
Item B is email correspondence received from Michelle Jenkins regarding her objection to the final phase of the Sandy Springs subdivision.
Ms. Duval.
Yes, I'd like to request that be read aloud.
Is there support for this motion? Ms. Kempton?
I support it.
Please vote.
The motion carries unanimously.
Proceed. Madam Clerk.
Okay, it says, good morning. I live at 6147 Christina Run in Sandy Springs. I am writing to object to the final phase 5 of the Sandy Springs subdivision. Nothing has been resolved regarding the overflow problem in the wetlands. A very small trench was dug, but it does not help anytime it rains. The water sits for so long that it's running mine and my neighbor's property line. They still have also not fixed the tread marks that were made by both Deca pools while delivering a pool to a neighbor, as well as the developers making it worse when driving through to clean up debris and such many houses down from us. The HOA sent a letter stating they wanted more time to fix it, which I understand is hard to fix right now when it's been raining, but I'm worried this is going to keep being put off, as the HOA and developer has known about this problem for well over a year now, and they have done nothing to help. I also want to make it clear that if the HOA does take care of it, it is not the residents' responsibility to pay for the repairs. I think passing the expenses along to the residents is unfair. We have been in contact with Joshua Thornsberry for well over a year, and he has been pushing hard to get us help. Please let me know if there's anything else you need from me to object to this matter. Michelle Jenkins.
Thank you. Ms. Duval.
This letter illustrates one of my concerns about people coming in, razzle dazzle, do this, and then leave with the property owners and the cities holding the bag on whatever the issue is. Has her, I guess I'm asking, has her concerns been addressed? Is there anything the city can do to help these homeowners find satisfaction with their property?
Mr. Somebody from administration? If you can't answer now, you can get back later, but Mr. Carrion.
Yeah, I believe I can share the extent of our involvement. Our engineering department has been working with a developer. They have also been working extensively with Councilmember Thornsberry, and I believe there were a list of items that needed to be completed. Some have been completed, but there still remain some items that are not. And in terms of what each one is, I couldn't tell you what each one is, but I know there are still some outstanding issues that the councilman and engineering are working with the developer to correct. So, that's the extent of what I'm able to share.
Yes, like I said, I'm just concerned because when we do things, there used to be an organization called Seventh Generation. And any decisions, and this came out of the Native American tradition, any decisions made would be made on the basis of how the 7 generations from them would be affected. And I see people coming in, building houses, and then they leave. And they're going to leave us with the traffic problem. They're going to leave us with the drainage problems. And I just don't think that that's fair. I think that those people who do those things should be held responsible for them. I don't care if it's 10 years later. There needs to be some avenue that homeowners don't get stuck with bad planning or bad management or poor, sloppy constructions, whatever it is. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ball. Mr. Nutt.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just as a quick note to some of the comments that Councilwoman had brought up. We obviously will get to this item 11A, my understanding, as well as if there is some items that are not completed. So we are looking at allowing for more time to pass to make sure some of those items are done or planned to be done or something like that. I know Mr. Thornsberry is on top of it, but we will get to that when we get to 11A.
Thank you. Mayor Bradley.
I just want the council members to know also that I brought this subject up at our managers meeting this morning, and I talked with the different departments, and I agree with some of the comments. We don't think it's fair that someone comes in, builds a development, makes a lot of money, and then just kind of turns over the homeowners association to the residents and leaves them with a lot of problems. So I told our chief building official that I want the current homeowners association to be notified that we're not going to just let this thing pass, that we're gonna put them on notice. There's certain things that they're gonna have to do before we allow them to leave the city or say adios or whatever it is they're gonna say. So we are looking at this very closely. We take these comments very seriously, and it's a nice development, some nice houses in there, but we don't want the residents to be left with all the problems. And we're going to do everything in our power to make sure that those residents get protection. And believe me, I brought it up at several managers' meetings, and we're going to continue to talk about it. We do take these things seriously.
Thank you, Mayor Bradley. No other comments? Receive and file. Item C.
Item C is correspondence received from Poise Entertainment regarding their 4th annual event at Veterans Memorial Park on July 4th, 2025.
No comments. Receive and file. Item D.
Item D is correspondence received from Art in the Park regarding their Beach Stories 2025 event at Oakwood Park, July 10th and July 24th, and Lakeview Beach and Park, June 26th and July 17th.
No comments. Receive and file. Item E.
Item E is email correspondence from a concerned resident regarding public safety concerns at the Catholic Charity Shelter on 28th Street.
Ms. Kingowski.
Yes, I would make a motion to have this read into the record, as this was forwarded by the police department, which is a governmental agency. Also, this was part of the subject matter at a recent community town hall meeting.
Ms. Henley.
I'd like to make a motion that this be sent to police and fire for committee meeting.
Two motions.
I'm sorry?
Can you have two motions?
Okay, well, we have 2 motions. So, Ms. Kingowski made a motion to be read for record. Is there anybody supporting that motion? Mr. Nutt.
I'll support that motion.
Okay. Please vote.
The motion to read the correspondence into the record carries unanimously.
Proceed, and then we'll entertain Ms. Henley's motion after reading this. Thank you.
To whom it may concern, I am writing on behalf of the residents of Ward 5 in Lorain, Ohio, with deep concern and urgency regarding the ongoing and escalating issues stemming from the Catholic Charity Shelter located on 28th Street. What was intended to be a resource for the unhoused has become a persistent threat to the safety, stability, and well-being of our neighborhood. This shelter is situated directly in a residential area, a community full of families, children, and senior citizens, and is less than a block away from a school. The shelter currently houses a significant number of registered sex offenders, and the impact this has had on our day-to-day lives cannot be overstated. Residents have witnessed men loitering in front of vacant buildings, aggressively panhandling outside the BP gas station at 20th and Broadway, using drugs openly in vehicles in the parking lot, and engaging in indecent behavior such as urinating in public and, alarmingly, exposing themselves to school children. These are not isolated incidents. They happen regularly, and they are putting our children and our community in danger. Local businesses have been affected as well. The area surrounding the shelter has seen significant decline, with vacant properties becoming unsellable due to the ongoing loitering and criminal behavior. One business on 28th Street between Denver and Caroline has even reported repeated issues with trash, vandalism, and public drug use occurring just steps from their property. We understand that homelessness is a crisis that must be addressed with compassion and structure. However, placing a facility that houses high-risk individuals in close proximity to schools, homes, and businesses is not an effective or safe solution. The current location is simply inappropriate and unsustainable. We ask our City Council to consider the following. Would this situation be tolerated if the shelter were located near Mayor Bradley's home? Would city leadership allow registered sex offenders to congregate and harass school children in their own neighborhoods? How many police, fire, and EMS calls must be made to this location before it is acknowledged that the status quo is failing? Our community is actively exploring legal options to protect our rights and our safety. We would prefer to resolve this collaboratively, but we will not remain silent while our children and our livelihoods are endangered. We respectfully request that the City of Lorain immediately begin the process of relocating the Catholic Charity Shelter to a more appropriate non-residential location, one that allows those in need to receive support without putting the public at risk. We urge you to take this matter seriously and act swiftly. Our neighborhood deserves the same level of protection and respect afforded to any other part of the city. Thank you for your time. Sincerely, a concerned resident. P.S. I have more photos, but the size limit has been reached, and I am unable to attach the remaining photos. I'm sure you get the point being made by the photos attached.
Thank you. Mr. Ryder.
Through the chair to council, just for information, the meeting has been set, I believe at my offices or at the offices of the LPD for next Tuesday at 2 p.m. to address the concerns that have been raised through this citizen's complaint, as well as other departments in the area who bear responsibility, including the law department, for managing a situation like this. So with the administration, the LPD, and other involved agencies, I will be able to report back to council probably sometime next week about where we are headed with this problem. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Pinkowski.
Yes, I would defer to Mrs. Henley on this, as she was the one that we wanted to make the motion.
Correct. Ms. Henley?
Thank you. I would make the motion now to send this to committee, police and fire. I think it's the appropriate.
Ms. Pinkowski.
And I will gladly.
Please vote.
The motion to refer the matter to committee carries unanimously.
Item 8, public comments.
There are 4 members of the public signed up to speak this evening. Our first speaker is Tom Oster, and the topic is Sandy Springs Phase 5 plat.
Just a little housekeeping before Mr. Oster talks. Right up table there, our Madam Clerk has posted, and you could take them with you, laminated rules and regulations so everybody is on the same page. We have been doing this for roughly about 6 years, I believe, but there's always a fine-tune, a housekeeping issue. So, and it's all in English. A 20-minute maximum period time is set for public comments. And this is part of our Rule 16 that Council passed. So for the record, Council is the one who is giving the public the authority. We never did this up until about 6 years ago, but certain council members brought it to the forefront. They voted for it, the majority did, and that's why we're here today. It's a public forum, and this is the opportunity you get to speak in public. Not disruptions, not yelling out. This is the time is reserved for you, the public. Speakers are limited to 2 minutes unless otherwise extended. In other words, sometimes council has voted to possibly give the person more time if they request it. Speakers must sign up prior to commencement of the meeting, primarily about 15 minutes before the meeting. That's when we do it. Speakers must provide their name, address, and topic they wish to comment. And the reason we ask a topic, we found in the past people come up to the mic and just speak about 20 different things. Try to focus on one. You could come back as many times to the succeeding meetings, but for that one meeting, we ask that you stay on topic. This is council's request, not my request. Speakers will engage on a first come and first served basis. In other words, you sign up. If tonight we have 4, I believe, so we'll be able to allow 4. The maximum is 10. Once again, speakers will engage in a civil discussion through the chair and refrain from personal attacks, violations, or result in removal from the chamber. Item 8. Council President reserves the right to rule comments dilatory at all times. In other words, let's keep it civil. And finally, speakers are encouraged to use their time to comment or ask on clarification of agenda items, reports, concerns, make a suggestion, or announcement of a community events. They should not expect debate or any discussion of a topic. In other words, this isn't a back and forth. You have your concerns, you stated. Council members, the administration, they all take notes. Mayor Bradley has been very diligent about this with council sending follow-ups to council emails, especially if it's something pertains to their ward or their at-large council people also, the whole city. So please keep that in mind. Like I said, city council here is not a entertainment section. We are here to do the business of council. And we welcome the public to be here. And once again, we just ask for some respect and decorum. Mr. Oster.
Good evening. Is this on? Okay. Good evening. Tom Oster, 6232 Oak Point Estates, Lorain, developer for the Sandy Springs subdivision number 5. As many of you know, I've been in the city since the 1900s. I've developed literally the whole west side, Oaks, Oak Point Estates, Martins Run, Morningside, Cornerstone Farm, Sandy Springs. As a developer, we have a contract with the city that's called a subdividers agreement. The subdividers agreement requires us to do certain work with certain standards. Once that work is done, the city's obligation is to approve our plat. We have the option as a developer to come before council before the work's done and put a bond up for 120% of the work that is not complete and request approval of a plat. At this point in time, we are 100% done with all the work in the Sandy Springs Subdivision 5. I've got a letter from the city engineer stating that. A month ago, there's a punch list item of 23 items. We've completed all those items related to Sandy Springs Subdivision number 5. On a side note, the Sandy Springs Homeowners Association has allowed its homeowners to go through HOA property and cause damage to HOA property, installing fences, pools, outbuildings, and decks. And that damage has caused tracks, depressions, and water to stand behind some homes and some wetlands areas, etc. The Homeowners Association has previously submitted a letter to the city acknowledging that they've allowed owners to go through it. The owners caused the damage. The HOA has taken responsibility. They've declared that it's not a developer-related issue. However, in good faith, The city doesn't want to deal with it. The HOA probably can't deal with it. We've hired a professional engineer to come up with a plan, working with the city to figure out how to restore it back to what it was before, redirect any water flow away from that area to help alleviate the problem. So in good faith, we've done everything that we need to do. We certainly understand that you can send us to a third reading. It's cost us $10,000 a month in interest and carry cost. The builder has 5 homes sold. You know, they want to get started as well. I know my time's up, so we're just requesting if you could approve it tonight, that would be great. Again, there are 0 items that we have to complete in Sandy Springs Subdivision 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Everything's done. The only issue is the water issue caused by the homeowners. We will take on that project. We will manage it to the end. It can't be complete till midsummer, but we will take on that obligation.
Thank you, Mr. Oster, for that information. Thank you. Item number 2.
Our next speaker is Brandon West, and the topic is City of Lorain.
Now I found the time. Okay. Good evening. I'm here to speak about my correspondence, but to speak about Lorain as well. This is a city that has shaped me. A few years ago, I stood at the edge of my own life. I attempted to take it with my own insulin. Unsure if I would have a future, but I'm still here. And I come to this city for part of that. Not because it's perfect, and sometimes it's far from it, but because somewhere in its imperfection, it made room for someone like me. At just 20 years old, I stepped into these chambers with a vision and a trembling voice. I found a window opened by residents and leaders, both willing to listen. From a mayor who offered me my first meeting on human rights, to both Councilwoman Mary Springowski and Victoria Kempton, who reminded me to be transparent but stand firm on my beliefs with kindness. City officials like Hannah Corelli, who took the time she might have not had to hear from dreams of mine that didn't yet exist. And our clerk of council, Brianna Dahl, taking my many annoying emails and handling it with kindness. I had no title, no funding, but I had hope, and in Lorain, for me, that was enough. I've since worked with cities across Ohio to fight for dignity, to protect LGBTQIA+ vulnerable youth, and to continue working based on kindness. And yet, no matter how far that work goes, I always tell people the same thing. It started in Lorain. So to each of you and the residents present behind me, thank you, whether you know it or not, or whether I've even met you or not. You have shaped me, and I hope I can help shape what comes next. I'll quickly end with a call to action. I know my path has been in some ways unique, but I've seen what happens when voices go unheard, and mine included. I'm here to call all of us in to build a Lorain that remembers every unheard voice, welcomes every dream not yet realized, and proves regardless of our walk of life, political belief, or disagreements, that together, small cities can still lead the way. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker.
Our next speaker is Santo Davila, and the topic is Lorain, Ohio water backup. And I think he left after the public hearing. Okay. Our final speaker this evening is Jane Morales, and the topic is Lorain, Ohio. Mary Springowski.
Through the chair. I wanted to thank Mary publicly. There was a problem in our neighborhood, and I reached out to my council person, didn't get an answer, didn't get a reply, so maybe she didn't get the phone call. But Mary went out of her way at dinner time one night and handled a problem that had nothing to do with the city itself, and you made a huge difference on that block. So I wanted to publicly thank you for going out of your way. Secondly, I'm trying to be as nice as I can. I really would like an answer. So I know you can't do it here. I'd really like somebody to reach out, and not Mary, somebody else to reach out and explain to me so that I don't get so angry. When do we get answers? When
people bring things up and they talk about things. When do we actually get answers? Like, is there a protocol that you actually reach out to people and reply, or can we have another town hall? Can we do something to where we get answers so that we're not angry and we're not frustrated? It was very frustrating the last time I was here because not only was I wrong for being loud, but that whole other side was wrong, and we were the only ones that left. It's frustrating. So I would like to know when. Could somebody email me? Could somebody call me? Could somebody do anything? And let me know how this works. There's a lot of people that want to come to these meetings but don't because they don't get answers. There's a lot of people that have a lot of questions but don't come because they don't get answers. And we feel like we're ignored. And then when you said that, Joel, that you don't have to reply and there's no back and forth, when do we get answers? When do we get confirmation on things? I wouldn't ride you half as hard as I do, and I ride Mary as well. But we don't get any answers. You just brush us off.
Thank you. And for the record, I had said right at the beginning, Ms. Morales, that administration takes notes. I know Mr. Soto does. We have been getting, I'm not going to back and forth, I'm just giving you information that I know Mayor and his staff, they communicate with council. Now, what they do with individuals, your point is well taken, because I know they know who you are and they have information. And once again, you can always contact Ms. Stahl in council clerk, who's here every day, and she could forward that information again, because yes, sometimes I understand the frustration. You want an answer, and what is it? But once again, through experience, and you've been here many times, we don't have that back and forth. They take the notes, but once again, people call me because they call their council person and they don't answer the phone or their mailbox is full. So they'll call me, so I'll ask the clerk to please notify the council person, or I personally will call her myself. That Ms. Morales called, could you please call her back? And I know the frustration you have out there, because a lot of us, we just want a call back. And so what if you're going to blow off steam? A lot of people blow off steam, and that's all they want, but they want a callback. So once again, hopefully the people in this room, the administration, the rest, they take your words to heed. But like I said, you have other avenues that you could also call, which is our council clerk or myself, if you have to. And I cannot tell you how many times I have told council people, your mailbox is full. And anybody out there in the public, you know why you people keep the mailbox full? Because they don't want you calling them. I have family members like that, that their mailbox is full, but I could text them. But once again, your point's well taken, and hopefully we could work through that. Thank you. Ms. Stahl. That's it?
That concludes our public comments.
Okay, thank you. Item 9, committee reports.
There are none.
Item 10, legislation, first reading.
Our first item is introduced by Mrs. Springowski, an ordinance adopting the recommendation of the City of Lorain Planning Commission to approve the request to rezone permanent parcel numbers 0202, 012, 106, 001, and 0202, 012, 106, 002, and 0202, 012, 104, 052 from R1B to R2, and more fully described in Exhibit A attached here too. And this is the Meister Road.
Yes, motion to suspend the rules, please.
Is there support? Ms. Carter?
I support.
Please vote.
The motion to suspend the rules does not carry. dissenting votes, please keep your lights on. Voting no are Mrs. Springowski, Ms. Duvall, Ms. Henley, Ms. Kempton, Mr. Nutt, and Ms. Spellacy. This item will go to a second reading.
Thank you. Item B.
Item B is introduced by Mr. Nutt, an ordinance adopting the recommendation of the City of Lorain Planning Commission to approve the request to rezone permanent parcel number 05000010000299 from PUD to B1 and more fully described in Exhibit A attached here too. This is ZCA 1-2025. And this is the Oak Point Road item.
Oak Point Road. Okay, Mr. Nutt.
Thank you, Mr. City Chair. I make a motion to suspend the three reading rule.
Ms. Springowski.
Support.
Please vote.
Mr. Nutt, please vote. Thank you. Ms. Duvall, you have both votes. Thank you. The roll is suspended.
Any discussion? No discussion. Mr. Nutt.
Thank you, sir. Make a motion for passage.
Ms. Springowski.
Support.
Please vote.
The ordinance is passed unanimously.
Item C.
Item C is introduced by Mr. Nutt, an ordinance adopting the recommendation of the City of Lorain Planning Commission to approve the request to rezone permanent parcel number 02-005-112-017 at 1510 Cooper Foster Park Road from R1A to B2 and more fully described in Exhibit A attached here too. This is ZCA 2-2025.
Mr. Nutt.
Thank you, Mr. City Chair. I make a motion to suspend the three reading rule.
Ms. Duvall.
Concur.
Please vote.
The roll is suspended.
Any discussion? Ms. Duvall.
Yes. Again, I'm looking at this, I'm looking down the road. Is there any indication of what this is the jump at the sun daycare? Is there any indication that there will be any other construction in this area? Okay. All right, thank you.
Ms. Springowski.
Yes, I'm very much in support of passing this. The owner is a longtime community member, she's very active in the community, and again, like I had said in the public hearing, this business was vital during COVID. She provides a very necessary service in her childcare, which this childcare has had nothing but rave reviews. It's an exemplary establishment. So I'm all in support of this. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Mr. Nutt.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just for clarity for the record, this is just to correct an error in the zoning. So it's just making it as it should be.
Thank you. Mr. Carrier?
Yes, through the chair to members of council, that's exactly what it is. This business operated as under the B2 zoning district. Inadvertently, this was changed back in 2021. She continued to operate as a daycare under this zoning. And all we're trying to do is correct it back to what it should be, which is a B2. It has not changed anything with the business. It was just changing the zoning classification that the city inadvertently changed.
Thank you for that information. Any other discussion? If not, Mr. Nutt.
I think you should make a motion for passage.
Ms. Springowski.
I'm sorry, it was Mrs. Duvall who had seconded it.
Thank you. Ms. Duvall,
I concur.
please vote.
The ordinance is passed unanimously.
Item D.
Item D is introduced by Mrs. Henley, an ordinance authorizing the Safety Service Director to enter into a settlement agreement with Costco Wholesale Corporation and directing the city auditor to allocate said funds to the court recovery fund and declaring an emergency.
Ms. Henley.
I make a motion to waive the three reading rule.
Ms. Springowski.
Support.
Please vote.
The roll is suspended.
Any discussion? No discussion. Ms. Henley?
I'll move for passage.
Ms. Springowski?
Support.
Please vote.
The ordinance is passed unanimously.
Item E.
Item E is introduced by Mr. Nutt. An ordinance authorizing the Director of Public Safety Service to enter into a subrecipient agreement with Greater Cleveland Habitat for Humanity for a basement foundation program and declaring an emergency.
Mr. Nutt?
Thanks, Mr. Chair. Make a motion to suspend the three reading rule.
Ms. Duval?
Concur.
Please vote.
The rule is suspended.
Any discussion? No discussion. Mr. Nutt?
Thank you, sir. Make a motion for passage.
Ms. Duval?
Concur.
Please vote.
The ordinance is passed unanimously.
Item F.
Item F is introduced by Mr. Nutt. An ordinance authorizing the Director of Safety Service to accept the donation of real property located at 2213 East 32nd Street, Lorain, Ohio, and declaring an emergency.
Mr. Nutt?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Make a motion to suspend the three reading rule.
Ms. Duval?
Concur.
Please vote.
The rule is suspended.
Any discussion? Mr. Nutt?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I did just have a quick question. If the city has any plans for this vacant lot, if there's anything going on over there that we need it for,
area.
Yes, through the chair to members of council, Councilman Nutt. Yes, this is actually a project that I worked on when I was the sixth ward councilman in South Lorain. It's taken 5 years. And this parcel ties to the redevelopment of 3105 Grove, the former Ice from Heaven Payless Shoe Store. A group has entered into an option to purchase the property with the plans to renovate it as a small grocery store and restaurant in that corner. They do have the adjacent parcel, which is a green space that they would actually consider doing a drive-through of some point. But this parcel that we're talking about is not in that immediate area. It's right across the alley, is behind the 32nd Street gas station. And this is a property that had a blighted property. The city took it down maybe 3 years ago. A lien was placed on the property to protect the city's interests. This group, just as the other group that was intending to develop this, needs that parcel for employee parking. Their goal is to provide as much parking near the business for customers. But we have discussed with the new group that is on board. They have already, they're waiting for this final piece to finalize the deal. We did reiterate to them that the city spent about $10,000 to demolish the structure, and that would be the price of the lot that they would pay for. That way the city is paid for, and they have agreed to do so.
Thank you. Mr. Nutt?
Thank you, sir. That sounds fantastic and good. 5 years worth of work coming to fruition. So thank you, sir. Thank you.
No further discussion. Mr. Nutt?
Make a motion to pass.
Mr. Ball?
Concur.
Please vote.
The ordinance is passed unanimously.
Item G.
Item G is introduced by Mrs. Carter. An ordinance authorizing and directing the Safety Service Director of the City of Lorain, Ohio, to enter into a contract with Hastings Waterworks, Inc. for the operation of the city pool located at Oakwood Park without bidding and declaring an emergency.
Ms. Carter?
I move for suspension of a 3 reading rule.
Ms. Duval?
Concur.
Please vote.
The rule is suspended.
Any discussion? Mr. Nutt?
Thank you, Through the chair. I was asked a question about this earlier, whether or not this expenditure was budgeted. When you look at the resolution, it says that it was not budgeted in the current year. I did pull the 2025 budget, and under swimming pool 4150 contractual services, we did set aside $136,435. So I did just want to put that out there for informational purposes. That might just be a clerical error that says no on there, because during the budgeting process, that money was set aside just for informational purposes.
Mr. Kazura, any comments? Very well. It's agreed that it is budgeted. comments? If not, Ms. Carter?
I move for passage.
Ms. Duval?
Concur.
Please vote.
The ordinance is passed unanimously.
Item H.
Item H is introduced by Mrs. Springowski. An ordinance creating section 911.02, payment plans.
Ms. Springowski?
Yes, motion to suspend the three reading rule, please.
Any support? Mr. Nutt?
Support, sir.
Please vote.
Ms. Belsey, please vote. Thank you. The rule is not suspended. Voting no are Mrs. Springowski and Mrs. Henley. Which will go to a second reading.
Thank you. Item I.
Item I is introduced by Mr. Nutt. An ordinance assessing the cost of abating nuisance by removing litter and deposit of garbage, rubbish, junk, etc. during the current calendar year and declaring an emergency.
Mr. Nutt?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I make a motion to suspend the three reading rule.
Ms. Springowski?
Support.
Please vote.
Ms. Duval, please vote. That's okay. Thank you. Ms. Belsey, please vote. Thank you. The rule is suspended.
Any discussion? No discussion. Mr. Nutt?
I think you should make a motion for passage.
Ms. Springowski?
Support.
Please vote.
The ordinance is passed unanimously.
Item J.
Item J is introduced by Mr. Nutt. An ordinance appropriating funds for current expenses and other expenditures of the City of Lorain, State of Ohio, as passed by Ordinance 35-25, beginning January 1st, 2025, and ending December 31st, 2025, and declaring an emergency.
Mr. Nutt?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I make a motion to suspend the three reading rule.
Ms. Springowski?
Support.
Please vote.
The rule is suspended.
Any discussion? Mr. Nutt?
Thank you, Mr. the Chair. I was asked a few questions about this, so I'm just going to clarify a few things. And if I happen to get anything wrong, we do have our auditor here, so I'm sure he can point me in the right direction. But there was a question about, if you look at the first page of the ordinance here, that the general sewer fund balance of $430,176 being moved to the general sewer transfer out capital improvement fund, equating to $820,786. The reason why there was a line item balance transfer as well of $390,000 that gives you that balance. That's why there's a little bit of that misunderstanding, I guess, however you want to say that right there. But the funds do pan out. Obviously, it is in the email source as well. If you look down at, they don't really have page numbers, but between Ms. Harper and Ms. Golden, pertaining to those funds, it breaks it down. Obviously, you can see the circled, red circled amounts. That's how you get to those total funds at the end of the appropriations. So just for clarity purposes, but if I missed anything, Mr. Auditor.
Mr. Gazelle?
Yep.
Explain, for council, I know some of this, the reason you see a couple of the figures, 820,000, 786,000, three different times. First you have to appropriate the transfer out, then you have to appropriate the transfer in as revenue to the other, like the capital, and then to appropriate it itself. The 430,000 is the amount we needed to finish the pallet terminal appropriation. We had already appropriated additional dollars previous to that. So that's the extra bond, the 430,000. That'll also go to the pallet terminal, the final. This will completely fund that huge expenditure we'll have to have.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you both for the clarification. No other comments, Mr. Nutt?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Make a motion for passage.
Ms. Springowski?
Support.
Please vote.
The ordinance is passed unanimously.
Thank you. Item 11, legislation, second reading.
Introduced Introduced by Mr. Nutt. Can we hear me? Okay. Introduced by Mr. Nutt, an ordinance accepting the plat of Sandy Springs subdivision number 5 within the city of Lorain.
Mr. Nutt.
Thank you, sir. I was going to make a motion on this third reading, but I am going to make a motion to suspend the 3 reading rule so we can have a little bit of a discussion first.
Ms. Fragowski.
Support.
Please vote.
The rules not suspended. Voting no are Ms. Fragowski, Ms. Henley, Ms. Kempton, and Ms. Carter. And this item will go to a 3rd reading.
Thank you. Item 12, legislation, 3rd reading.
Introduced by Mr. Nutt, a resolution authorizing the Safety Service Director to apply for, accept, and enter into an agreement with the Ohio Department of Transportation for congestion mitigation and air quality funding to support the implementation of video detection, traffic monitoring, and bridge notification technologies throughout the city of Lorain.
Mr. Nutt.
Thank you, sir. I make a motion for passage.
Ms. Fragowski.
Support. I believe we have a request to amend this by substitution.
I do apologize.
Proceed.
Thank you, sir. I apologize. Yes, I make a motion to amend by substitution. I believe everybody has a copy of the new verbiage.
Ms. Fragowski.
And I will support as amended.
Please vote.
The motion to amend by substitution carries unanimously, and now this reverts back to a 2nd reading, so we will have to waive the rules for consideration.
Motion. Mr. Nutt.
Thank you, sir. I make a motion to waive the 3 reading rule.
Ms. Fragowski.
Support.
Please vote.
The rule suspended.
Any discussion? Mr. Nutt.
Thank you, sir. Just for clarity, there was the amendment by substitution for the language in the opening of the resolution. There was questions and some concerns, and I reached out to Ray and Don, and they took care of it and got it right on it, and engineering got the changes made and good to go. So thank you.
Thank you. Any other discussion? No further discussion, Mr. Nutt.
Thank you, sir. Make a motion for passage.
Ms. Fragowski.
Support.
Please vote.
The resolution is passed unanimously.
Thank you. Item B.
Item B is introduced by Mr. Nutt, an ordinance authorizing the Safety Service Director to enter into a 3-year agreement with Clarity Cloud USA, Inc. for professional services and software implementation and declaring an emergency.
Mr. Nutt.
Thank you, sir. Through the chair, I make a motion to withdraw this item from consideration.
Ms. Duval.
Concur.
Please vote.
The motion to withdraw this item from consideration carries unanimously.
Item C.
Item C is introduced by Mrs. Fragowski, an ordinance removing special assessments from real properties located within the city of Lorain and declaring an emergency. And just for the record, Mr. Nutt is abstaining from this item this evening.
Thank you. Ms. Fragowski.
Yes, I would move for passage.
Ms. Duval.
Concur.
Please vote.
The ordinance is passed with 8 affirmative votes and 1 abstention from Mr. Nutt.
Item D.
Item D is introduced by Mr. Nutt, an ordinance repealing Ordinance 186-21 and Chapter 1515 of the Codified Ordinances of the City of Lorain, registration of vacant commercial buildings, and establishing a new Chapter 1515 of the Codified Ordinances of the City of Lorain, registration of vacant commercial buildings.
Mr. Nutt.
Thank you, sir. Through the chair, I make a motion for passage.
Ms. Fragowski.
Support.
Please vote.
Mr. Nutt, thank you. The Ordinance is passed unanimously.
Thank you. Item 13, committee calls.
On June 2nd at 5:30 p.m., there will be a Streets and Utilities Committee meeting to discuss the Utilities Department billing office hours. On June 9th at 5:30, there will be a public hearing to discuss a proposed zoning code change amendment to Chapter 1151, signs of the codified ordinances. On June 23rd at 6 p.m., there will be a Streets and Utilities Committee meeting to discuss the SWAB biannual report. And on July 14th and October 13th, the Finance Committee will meet for quarterly budget updates.
Thank you. Any other committee calls? Mr. Yasi?
Yes, I would ask, even though I'm not a member of the committee, but I would ask that we would move the payment plans ordinance to the June 2nd utilities meeting so that we can have some further discussion on that. Just add it into the agenda.
Mr. Nutt?
Do I need a second thought?
To say June 2nd?
Yeah.
That will be, just for the record, that would be a regular meeting.
Oh.
So we will be at a time crunch on that. So I don't know if you would want to choose
maybe the June 23rd then.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Very well, thank you. Any other committee calls? No other committee calls. Once again, item 14, miscellaneous concerns from council. If you have a concern, please put on your light. Ms. Carter.
Yes, thank you. Through the chair, to our safety service director, Mindy Shaver has emailed us several times about the confusion that's going on Regina Avenue regarding the fence. I forward you the pictures of the traveling through the field. But so if we can get that taken care of, it would be greatly appreciated. The next thing is regarding the phone call to Ms. Jane Morales. I did not receive a phone call or voicemail from you. Be sure that you have the right phone number, which is 440-219-8754, which is a city-issued phone. I have no voicemails from you. I do not have a voicemail that is full either. I empty my voicemail quite often. So you can text. You can also email. And if you can't reach me by those things, there are counsel at large as well, and they will also reach out to me as well. So,
Thank you. Let's move.
No.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Finish.
Ms. Carter.
Yes. I also need to know, as far as the lines that have been replaced with the broken lines. There are several areas in the ward, and I'm sure throughout the city, where they have dug up the ground, and they have replaced the gravel in those places. When are we going to cover those patches? And I know one of them was covered on Oberlin Avenue and 19th Street, and I thank you. But there's like another one that's like 3 feet away, and they just rolled off and didn't fill that one. So we need to get to these things. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Carter. Ms. Moon?
Thank you, Council President. I had received a call about the bathroom at City View Park, when they're going to start working on that. Also, when will the pools be open? And they said they're going to be able to rent out the pools, and also people have been calling about rental for the pool for gatherings. Also, I've been saying this since 2016. If there's anything going on in the Fifth Ward, please let me know. I was riding around in the City View area, which I'm very grateful for what's been going on out there. They put new sidewalks, new curves. They put sidewalks on City View Park. I also emailed the department, and the person stated they didn't know about the sidewalks. I don't want to look like boo-boo the fool, because when someone asks me what's going on, I want to be able to say what's going on, and also I'll get back to you. What I wasn't able to get back to them because nobody returned my call to let me know about these sidewalks, what's going on. So please, anyone, if you do something in the Fifth Ward, please let me know. It would be well appreciated. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Moon. Mr. Royal.
Thank you. First, I'd like to thank the AMS 47 youth baseball team that came out Saturday for Oakwood Park and helped clean up the park. The city also dropped 4 dump bags of mulch, and so tomorrow, Fit for Youth organization, the football team is going to come out to Oakwood, not tomorrow, but Wednesday at 5:30. We'll be at Oakwood Park spreading the mulch, and so if anybody's interested or has some time, you're more than welcome to come join us. Also, on another note, keep us in your prayers. Thursday, we're going to do the second annual Sam Felton visit to Arlington, so we're going to leave, hopefully, Thursday, ride our motorcycles out Thursday, visit his site again Friday, and head back. Some people aren't as, I don't know, have enough experience on motorcycles, so they're a little nervous about rain, so we might trailer it out. But anyways, either way, we're going to go out Thursday. On a serious note, about a week and a half ago, I witnessed a young lady on a dirt bike fall off the back of a dirt bike on 28th Street, jump back into the vehicle that was videotaping them. And about a month and a half ago, I witnessed about 30 dirt bikes on 28th Street doing wheelies and whatnot. Witnessed the police do their best to try to stop them. Obviously, they took off. And so if we're able to get a real plan together to try to observe this, because this is happening more and more, not even just dirt bikes, but I'm also witnessing, and probably most council members are, vehicles going down normal streets at 50, 60 miles an hour. And so it's starting to become an issue where I know it's a safety concern if police pursue these vehicles, but it's also a safety concern for the kids that play in the streets in South Lorain. So if this is something that we can seriously address and come up with a real plan, let it be with multiple law agencies, sheriff's department, highway patrol, whatnot, I'm open for them to come in and also assist with this issue. I think off the top of my head, that's really what I got besides loud music and whatnot, but I think that's going to be addressed, so thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Royal. Ms. Fellowsy.
Yes, I had a resident call me a couple days ago. He lives on Parkview, and he is concerned about the street. I believe Mrs. Sprinkowski had brought this up at the last council meeting. They did patch it when I had first called about potholes. They went out the next day and patched it. His concern is that Lakeview has concrete and curbs. He would like concrete and curbs on Parkview and the third lane. And I said, I'm not a miracle worker, but I'll bring it to the attention of the administration. So.
So I kind of know about this situation because Rick Soto tried to get concrete and curbs on his street, which is Lakeview. Mm-hmm. And the city ordinance says that the residents have to be willing to pay assessments to have that done. So if they want concrete and curbs, they have to, I guess, what percentage, Rick? 60% of the residents on that street have to agree to be assessed over 20 years for that improvement. Rick tried to do it on his street, no go. Mm-hmm. So if they can get 60% or more, then they can get concrete and curbs.
And they would have to pay?
That would be, yeah, they would be assessed for that.
They would be assessed, yes. Okay. I'll relay the information.
Thank you. Ms. Kempton.
Yes, through the chair. The property at the old Polish Club where it was torn down has left a lot of brick and debris there. Well, now what we have is grass that's 2 feet high, so it's almost impossible to mow it. And I had a couple people try to mow it, and they said, no, I'm not going to tear up my lawnmower. So we have grass that is growing through the debris, and it can't be mowed. So if someone could figure out a solution, that would be great. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Henley?
Thank you, Mr. Dondo. I will, after I confer with Mr. Delakia, we'll schedule the committee meeting for St. Elizabeth regarding the problems. And then I'd also like to thank the Southside Block Watch, Lori Craycraft and Dukovic, and I'm sure others were involved. I don't know all their names, for the first responders dinner that was held last week at Sacred Heart. I think it was well attended, and a lot of people brought food items and whatnot, so it was very nice. So Southside Block Watch deserves a huge thank you for putting that on. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Henley. Mr. Ball?
Yes, first of all, I'd like to say in driving around the city, the updates on the curbs and the ADA access and the lights, it just really makes the city look great. So I want to congratulate the Streets Department. Also want to remind the audience, there'll be a change in the Broadway corridor. I'm trying to save you phone calls, Mayor. It's going to be changed, so, and I think you can find the presentation on the city website when she made the presentation about how it's going to be changed. So just know that. Second of all, Mr. Carrion, will we be receiving an update on your progress with the recovery of the home loans? Okay. Will we be receiving an update on the progress of fitting the auxiliary policeman to issue non-moving violations? You know, Miss Moon gets very anxious about these cars on the lawns, and summer is here. I don't know if we have an update. We've been working on this since January. Okay. I'm going to thank the Streets Department for the installation of the sign at Oakwood Park, recognizing the historical black ACs that played there. Okay, and that's it. Under 2 minutes, Mr. Harrington.
Thank you, Mr. Ball. Ms. Pinkowski?
Yes, I have several things. First of all, I wanted to thank Mrs. Morales for letting me know about some lines that were down by Willow Park. These were bright speed lines, and it was causing outages in the area. But kids being kids, they were playing with the wires, and it was kind of freaking everybody out. I guess they expected to see little Johnny get real twisty there. You're not going to get electrocuted by the fiber optic, but you may cause your mother to lose her internet service, which could be very dangerous to your health. Also, we need to remind people that there is a noise ordinance in the city of Lorain, and everybody thinks that, well, I can do what I want up until 10 o'clock at night or whatever. No, you cannot. If people can hear your choice of music and your loud stereo in your from your driveway to their house, that is disturbing the peace, and that is against the law. I had some residents that commended Veterans Park, how great it was looking over this weekend. They were attending church, the historic church that's over there on Washington, but they came out and they were looking at the park and they said it was really looking nice, and they wanted to pass that along to the city workers and the city at large. And I wanted to echo the concerns about the dirt bikes and the ATVs. I'm seeing these kids riding these little mini bikes and dirt bikes and the ATVs, what have you. They don't have helmets. They don't have any protective equipment. I have seen what road rash does to a kid's body, and these kids are not stopping at stop signs. They're darting out in front of traffic. Some kid is going to get hit, possibly killed, and then of course that'll be the kid that was going to cure cancer. And everybody will say what a great kid he was. Well, you know what? You're not allowed to ride them in the city. And also, I would echo and I would appeal to the administration. Let's everybody work together and have a town hall. We just had a shooting on Homewood the other night, and I realize there's an investigation going on where somebody reacted to somebody trying to break into their house. I don't want to see vigilantism And a lot of the frustration comes on the part of the residents by not having an avenue to vocalize their concerns and not having those concerns validated. And giving them the opportunity in the form of a town hall, this lets them know that yes, we are listening to them, we are hearing them, and it's in a public setting that everybody's getting this. And so I would appeal to the mayor, the safety service director, and the police department to look at how we can better do this. Excuse me? I don't think that we would have enough room in this chamber for the people that are concerned. We had quite a nice crowd at the school. If we can do it, we may have to have a couple of them then. Whatever the administration thinks is appropriate, but this is coming up time and again, then it may not be that it is truly as bad as people think that it is, but as Winston Churchill said, perception is greater than reality. And we have to address their perception, because the only way that we're going to change that perception is in being the change agents. And so therefore I'm asking that we all work together. I know that I'm not on the committee anymore, but I will do whatever I can to help in working through this administration, because I'm here for another 2 years. And I really want to make this, I want the residents of the city to feel safe. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Pingowski. Once again, at the last meeting, that was my comment, which Mr. Riley just uttered out. And we were instructed by law. We could attend these meetings, but if there was discussion, there is any more than 3 council people, that is considered open sunshine laws. That's why I had made the comment that possibly Mr. Demakia, who chaired that town hall, and I know you said you were there also, bring it here. You know, we hear these concerns, and I look at the room, and I know not everybody's here for different projects, but you were here back in 2021 when we had that water issue, and I would agree with you. Yeah, it was crowded, but they made room, and we were able to work with that. The mayor, administration, we worked through that. And I think at the next meeting, the mayor's going to bring up about how impact of those rates, what we would be, the city of Lorain, if we had kept them the same way which the previous administration had instructed us, what the people would be paying that today. But that's for a later meeting. But I would recommend to Mr. Demakia, or you can, any council member can call a meeting, but let's do it here first, just to really see what kind of turnout. If in fact is more than we can handle, well, we'll deal with that. But I would really like to see how many are there, or are we going to get maybe half a room full? I know a lot of people have concerns when you make comments that everybody is upset. Well, I never seen everybody, but there's a big percentage. But let's try it first, just to see that. And I agree with you. Let's talk it out. But this way, there's no constraints. There's no people coming to say, well, you know, that's sunshine law. You know, we have people out there tape our meetings. We see our meetings, which is fine. We're open to the public. We're open and transparent. Let's be open and transparent right here. Let's see where we go. But your point, and members of the audience also, your points are well taken. So I would definitely like to see that here first. I'm going to go on because I have a couple others here. Mr. Nutt.
Thanks to the chair. Just a quick comment about first-time housing home buyers and whatnot. I did have a subcommittee, Buildings and Land, a few months ago addressing the high percentage of rental properties in the city and looking at possibilities what we could do with that. I was reading, and it seems that there's 2 senators from Columbus are looking at a tax, I believe they called it, for if a property owner owns more than 50 rentals, I believe these numbers are correct, that they're looking at taxing them $2,000 a month per rental to try to curb essentially large corporations owning whole swaths of communities, essentially pushing out first-time home buyers, things like that. So I just want to put that information out there. I will be following that, see what they come up with, see what can work, especially in City of Lorain. We have such a high percentage of rental properties. I believe, as I said in that subcommittee meeting, first-time home buyers. That's how you create communities, and they buy into the community. Obviously, they buy the house, they buy in the community. It makes the streets safer, increases property values, the whole 9 yards. So, just as a informational point, that's kind of interesting, and I'll keep an eye on that and see what we got going on down the road. Thank you.
Thank you for that information. Mr. Oil, you spoke already, but
more of a comment to, or a question to the law director on the piece of a committee meeting. I know back, 2002, maybe earlier than that, when there was violence, or 5, when there was a lot of violence it's 3, that's when, I apologize, 2003. Between that time, the chief called a town hall, whatnot, and we were packed in here. But we're a little bit different in time now. So if we were asked for a committee meeting, and I truly feel if we called it a town hall, and we were trying to avoid breaking the law, and called it having a committee meeting of police and fire, which I would support, being on that committee, would we be allowed to do it in a bigger function, such as a school or a church auditorium?
Through the chair to Councilman Arroyo, I don't have an answer to that question off the top of my head. I would have to do some research and give you a call, but it sounds as though it would be plausible so long as notice was properly given, but I can't say that with absolute certainty. So we will research it tomorrow in the law department and get you an answer promptly.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. Mayor Bradley?
I think it's a good idea. And also, we've talked to Dr. Jeff Graham from the Lorain City Schools, and he said that he would open the schools for any council member who requested the schools, or if the city of Lorain requested the Lorain City Schools to be open. So maybe that's a good idea that we have a committee meeting. So it is all council members would have a chance to participate, be there, give their thoughts, and answer questions. And then I would be there too.
Thank you. Okay. Ms. Spindowski?
Yes, I wanted to thank the mayor for reaching out to Dr. Graham for that. I do appreciate your efforts on this. And even if members of council weren't to speak, and it was the police department, law department, and the administration, I think that would be unacceptable. So I would make the motion, we have to, about setting up that meeting, or request that this be done.
Before I would entertain that motion, I would like to get, as Mr. Riley said, he'll get back to us, okay? And if in fact we could have a committee meeting at a different venue, I'm all for it. Once again, like I said, the last time we were instructed by law department about the sunshine laws.
I will withdraw that motion then, but just understand that it's still out there in the ether.
Right. But I know you're going to keep it on the stove, put it that way.
So well.
We'll address this. And no, once again, to talk about it, really. Okay, we have an executive meeting coming up, and Mr. Thornsberry is in here, but Mr. Paul, are you going to call the executive meeting?
I will, but I also want to make this point. When this meeting is set up to discuss, the town hall meeting to discuss violence, please include the groups that are right now boots on the ground working with these kids every day. There are people who are out there. There are organizations that are out there. I don't know that they were thought to be part of the solution, but they are. Okay.
Members of this committee, if we're going to call it a committee meeting, right now the committee members are Tony Tamaki is our chair, Ms. Henley vice chair, Ms. Kempton, Ms. Pelosi, Mr. Royal. But any council member out there can contact any organization, and I know you mentioned that last time, Ms. Duval, and that point is well taken. Yes, you know, hey, we're having this meeting. I think it'd be a great idea for you to come down. It's not limited to just here. You're a council person. You can invite anybody. But that's a very good point you bring up. Please.
I'd like to move into executive session by proper motion be held in accordance with our ORC section 121.22G1 to discuss certain personnel matters, to consider the compensation of public employees, and section 121.22G3 to conference with the public body's attorney regarding disputes that are subject to pending and or imminent court action.
Thank you, Ms. Duval. Ms. Springowski.
I will second that motion.
Please vote.
The motion carries unanimously.
Thank you. We will temporarily adjourn the meeting. Executive session. Please clear the hall. We'll start in 10 minutes. Once again, all the information, please, stays in the house. Is it on?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Henley.
Motion to adjourn.
Ms. Springowski.
Support.
Please vote.
Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you. Have a good evening.